Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to Village Chats. My name is Agnes Solo, and I am here again with our usual panel people,
Modani.
And Nash Warugoro.
and Nash. And today we're continuing with our conversation on compassion. It's also this big thing, this big idea. And we were talking about the courage to feel. The courage to feel. We want to have these conversations, and village chats it's about having conversations around the spirituality of our everyday life. The things that happen to you on a regular basis and how you experience them and how that can connect to your spirituality or how you experience God. So feelings are complicated, complex things or emotions, if that works better for you. And I don't know, I guess I'm going to start with what our relationships or what you consider like your relationship to be with your emotions. They range from your joy. What do you do when you are feeling joy? Do you even know that, like, I am really, really feeling joy or happy today? Or what do you do with your sadness and your heartbreak and all of that? So, these guys are going to share deep things about them, so secrets. Feelings are not things we share with people, but they're going to share with us. I'm going to start with Nash. Yes.
Well, the thing is, feelings. But like, just allow me to just backtrack just a little bit to frame the context of feelings in compassion. Because I think for me, I like with compassion, I actually go first to like the action before I think about what comes before. So we talked about the centrality of seeing, and then we talked about then the centrality of feelings to our capacity to be compassionate people. And I think that is what I guess then ushers me to wrestle with my feelings, as it were, because then if I'm not wrestling with them, it also has implications on my capacity to be a compassionate person. Feelings, I don't know, like it's almost like invite people to talk about how I process my feelings. Mudoni would say I'm generally a gloomy person. Like, I just think that for me, I guess I've come to know about myself that I guess I grow more anxious. Like that's like the one sort of emotional feeling that I'm sort of aware of over whatever it is. About happy feelings. Now that's an exciting one. I wonder if my wife would say that I have happy feelings.
Just like happy. What's that?
What's that? Like, what's there to be happy? We are here for meaningful work in the world.
I don't know. I don't know what goes on.
Yeah. So that's just like, I honestly, like, I'm more in tune with my negative feelings, and even those are like two of them, than I am with my sort of positive feelings. It's like complicated. I have no idea where to even start with that. To be happy, like,
Yeah.
look at me, I'm happy.
Do you realize, like, when you're feeling that, like, are you constantly, because there's people who are hyper aware of their emotions, and then there's people who are like, oh, look, like it's like almost you're realizing later that that was quite a wonderful moment. Like, how
Oh,
are you aware in the moment or later? Do you realize later?
wow, I actually would say that 90% of the time, maybe 70%, I don't realize, especially when they are happy moments. Or I don't even know, like, if whatever people would use, like, to say, describe those happy emotions or no, I think I would use other terms in that sense, as it were. So that's, like, quite fascinating in itself. Um, yeah, I wish I would say like I'm like the one who is big into celebration. My wife is big into celebration, and half the time we are fighting about why we are celebrating. That time.
What's yours?
um, so, I am an Enneagram 7. Uh, it's a cool thing. Check Enneagram out if you haven't. Um, but anyway, I say that because recently I was wondering about my personality, and so I went back to read up on just what this means, and and one of the descriptions is how a 7 will rationalize like everything, like rationalize every painful emotion. I think let me just say I have improved. Let me start by saying, mimi, nime improve sana. Nimefanya kazi. But yes, I definitely, I definitely avoid more negative spaces and more negative feelings. I think there's probably a point where I don't even know that I am experiencing something negatively. I'm just like, it's usually in retrospect that I'm like, oh, I was hurt. That wasn't a nice thing that person did. But at that moment, I have probably explained it away. I'm like, no, this person. And I'm like, I'm fine, I'm happy. Yeah. So yeah, but I must say that through the years, with different things, I have definitely been forced to sit with my feelings a bit more. And I'm trying to make that a practice, just to genuinely check in with myself, because I think I am very prone to being very alienated from myself and what I'm feeling. So najaribu.
Well, the Enneagram is a personality test type. We'll tag the link to the tests and you can take it. And I only say that because I am an Enneagram 8 with a wing of 7, which is happiness and intensity. It's just
complexity.
Yeah, we can die of our own feelings. It's a lot. So for me, I feel everything very intensely, and I'm hyper aware of it when I'm feeling it. It's like, this is a bad feeling. I don't want to feel like this. I am sad, or I am, I'm hurt, or I'm really happy. So for me, it's almost like I carry this awareness of my feelings as I go. And some people would say that's a good thing, but sometimes it's a bad thing. Because sometimes, genuinely, life needs you to show up like you're not hurt. Like, show up like you're not hurt. Do what you need to do, then you'll go get hurt. Go cry in the house. But this conversation is about how we are able to be attuned and in touch with the different things that are happening to us and to the world around us, and how we then get to respond from a place of compassion. And so I want to talk about, do you guys, does any either of you have like a story of a heartbreak, something that moved you to do something, something healing, something restorative, something, because the whole idea of the courage to feel is that you feel something when you see, wrong things being done to other people or even to you. But what do you do with that? So if you close yourself off, then I don't know if that helps the situation, or if you respond in revolution, I don't know if that also helps. So yeah, just maybe stories or insights into how do we, find a sweet spot with that, with the things that break our hearts, and how then we get to respond from a place of compassion.
I think for me, it's like I say, since we are talking about Indiagrams, we might as well say that we are Enneagram 4. Yeah. And you should read about it. It's like quite dramatic. I can't articulate.
You're
but
the melancholic
people.
Melancholic people.
But really, the whatever, the specialness or whatever. But I think maybe between my Enneagram 4 and the vocation that I have of pastoring, and I think they come together to sort of heighten my awareness of sort of like unjust sort of situations, kind of a thing. But then that's not necessarily like very helpful, because then I can overdwell, like especially in negative emotional spaces, like I can feel literally like the pain of someone else, almost like as if it's my pain, But then when you are bombarded with quite a bit of pain, it's like you have to find a way to to have boundaries around it or kind of a thing, which I do terribly. So it's, I think for me, I oscillate between just like popping my head into like whatever suffering moment it is, and almost like I carry the entire thing and then I disappear very quickly. So it's been, for me, I would argue it's been a process of learning. How do I allow those feelings to the degree that they lead to my heart being either open or broken, without it being about embodying those feelings, as it were. Because then I can very easily become paralyzed in my anxiety, my whatever it is, and like you said, but life still does need you to show up. So you can imagine when I'm literally carrying this your story, but then I have 50 other people here to show up to, and they're like, "What's up, dude?" And I just like, but I should tell you what again. The thing. So I think for me that's really a challenge. As far as a story of then moving towards action from that point of view, I think like the coolest thing. I mean, like, this one is not a suffering story really, but like my friend, like they just got a baby, and I don't know. It's like I'm there in the hospital, sort of with like my guy, like the wife, I guess, whatever, get a baby, But like
We send our prayers to her.
yeah, we will pray. Of course, she want to kill me after she watches this. But more important is like for my guy, me, it's like a rapture of things for like, it's your first baby. It's like, oh my God, we are seeing you coming along. So like, I want to like move with you, and do you have a bag that I can carry for you, So how then, because of course I have a wife who also cares about how I spend my finances, so it's us to then and I'm trying to make the case for, because I feel so intensely, my moving from that place of feelings can be sort of actually detrimental, either to the person that I need to be supportive of or to my own well-being, So then it's like this process of learning for, just because your feeling is so intensely and your heart is broken or your heart is exploding with joy or whatever, is not an invitation for you to not pay rent, to support them. You know the thing. Not that my friend in this case needs support. Yeah, it's like, no. Because then I get like whatever, then I can only do like one caring thing at a time. So I need to make peace with that, So in the message I was talking about this person who says we should at least aim to go deep as compared to wide, And there's this pastor, Andy Stanley, who says that do for one what you wish you could do for everyone, So I guess for me, that's where I am at, learning the work of saying, I have chosen to move towards you with compassion and with the feelings, even in the midst of all these other needs, which then leave me paralyzed in that sense. So that's not a story, just a long run.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I see how in the emotiveness of your feeling, you can even become irrational about like how you act. Maybe out of compassion, genuinely like you care for this person. But also, I guess then that's the importance of having a groundedness or a space where you can be like, this is wonderful, or this is not very wonderful, but then how do I move, I guess, consciously from there?
Yeah, I think like Nash. So I think more and more as I grow into myself, I am realizing my heart for like I am development oriented. Like I want things to work out. I want society to thrive. And so from teenagehood, like I was that kid. Like I spent a lot of my time like in homes. Like I was going to do this play. Like I worked on this play for a long time with a bunch of kids in a children's home. I used to go and play my guitar at Mata Hospital and Kenyatta Hospital. I mean, like I was that kid. I used to sit down on the street with street kids and have conversations. Like, and yeah, so that has been my heart for a long time. But somewhere there, it's very interesting because like something snapped. I think I just realized I can't really it's like it hit me that I can't do anything. Like I think. I worked for an organization where we were teaching values to Kenyans. Oh dear, Kenyans. Anyway, but then I think I think somewhere there I was just like, you guys just can't be helped. And something snapped, and I think I moved to a very cynical state where I was just like, why are we even trying? Like, why? What is that? And so I mean, I worked with my mom. My mom started an organization for literacy, but still, even that, like, I feel like I never like fully engaged because I'm just like, yeah, I still have my skepticism somewhere there, and so now I feel like I just realized literally in the past few weeks how genuinely I am called to this space. Like, I am called to Kikuyu. Like, I want to be out here. I want to be serving the community. I want to be doing all these things. I want to work with the people. And I think my prayer right now is to be able to strike a balance. I think there's a prayer that says, which prayer is it? Lord, help me to change. Help me to give me the courage to
Give me the
change.
courage to change the things I can, to accept the things I
that
can't, and
yeah,
the wisdom,
to know the difference.
Yes.
And I think that's such a powerful prayer in this whole maybe social justice, compassion conversation. I mean, okay, the social justice side of compassion, because I think compassion encompasses a whole lot more. But yeah, I think that's my place right now, where I'm just like, okay, like let me be able to reach the one, like maybe the one will be enough, and even if they're not in it, like I did my part, and to be able to rest in that. So it's a long, these are long-winded answers to a simple question.
Yeah, clearly.
Yes.
Feelings, emotions, they are just complex. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a way in which you can experience or feel so much to the point that you become numb. You're just like, I just can't. I can't do it. I can't feel like this anymore. I can't risk, if it's, for example, in love, because now that's also a common thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my heart has been so broken. I'm not going to feel anymore. Like, yo, mwende nyumbani, by the way. Or you numb yourself to, perhaps things that used to break your heart before. Like, you walk on the streets and you see these different things happening. Or like the classic Nairobi one for someone being mugged. And there's moments where we respond, and then there's moments when it's happening right in front of our eyes, and we are just like, you know what, another day, another story. Tomorrow there'll be another one. We can't save everyone. How do we combat numbness? Because I feel like, I guess for us who are called to live compassionate lives, or to live compassionately, and to act from that space, and to do good works really from that space, how do we not give in to the numbness that can come out of experiencing loss after loss, or pain after pain, or seeing all this brokenness happening in the world?
Let me go first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I live in this.
Like, why are you bothering asking him? What does he know about this?
No, not really. But I think maybe what I am learning or realizing is that what is my motivation for doing, like what is the heart behind my action or my doing? I think if it's, what is that saying about you come out into the world trying to change the world, and then if you conquer yourself, the end, like you're fine.
Yeah.
Like that's enough. And I think that's it. Like I think that if we do it from a genuine sense of compassion, and I think this is maybe the compassion that Jesus is talking about, that it's not anger, it's not rage, it's not propping yourself up that I can do this and I can make a difference, but it's saying I will use what I can, because I am an image bearer of God, and I will step into this situation no matter what the outcome will be. Doing it from a sense of okay, Christ was moved with compassion, and I think compassion maybe then is deeper than this sense of emotion. I guess, yeah, it's deeper than emotion. It's like a drive and a force. And if you could talk about it in terms of love, it's this driving force that then causes you to keep doing and to keep moving towards. And whether and I guess that's the same, with parenting or whatever, where like the child doesn't deserve you to keep not necessarily. I mean, yeah, they're doing silly things, but then you'll keep moving towards them. They are throwing tantrums, but then you'll keep moving towards them because you have a greater sense and a greater idea of who they are and who they can be, whether they end up being that or not. So yeah, I guess that's the compassion that we are talking about. This ability to move towards people, whether or not you see outcomes or not. Yeah. And I guess now with that, then hopefully you won't be numb, because now it's not dependent on what the person emerges as. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think it's Richard Rohr who talks about sometimes you can go into the world wanting to change the world, and then it overwhelms you. But then he twists it and says, maybe why you're sent into that situation is so that it can change you. So that outcome, because I don't think that you genuinely move through a space where your compassion is demanded of you, a difficult situation, or I don't think you move through certain situations without it changing you, without it touching you somewhere. I don't think that's possible. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. But and also, I was actually thinking, like, even as we are talking, I wonder, there's this other writer, N.T. Wright, that says that the sort of one of the hints we have of divinity within us, or something more beyond us going on in our lives, is our sense of justice. Like, we don't even have to be taught to know that there's like a social justice kind of a thing. It gets beaten out of us, most of us, But I think when we start there, it's like we move into the world almost with the idea of we are going to change it, And almost as this inevitable heartbreak blowback that has like a reset on you, And I think at that moment then we have a choice. Do we numb ourselves in a way to continue protecting ourselves? Or how do we go about continually then opening our hearts, risking being heartbroken, as compared to just simply saying, I tried that, it didn't work. No one, then like you move to the cynical space that Modoni was talking about, And I think that one of the ways that I think about compassion for me is formational, right? Like for me, it's more about beyond what we are changing the world about. It's more about the kinds of people we are becoming and we are, and how then we show up into the world out of that place, Am I a compassionate person? That's very different than calling myself a social justice activist kind of a thing. That's also very different from saying that I'm going to fix everything around me, But it's also not an excuse for me not to do anything, So for me, I think there's this other lady, she's called Susan Stabile, and she has this like very amazing line that simply says, what is mine to do, So for me, I think when we are living lives of compassion, it doesn't even mean that necessarily like, well, definitely we hope the world is being better because we are partnering with God for redemptive. But more importantly for me is that we are becoming sort of better people. And I don't think, however definition we have of better people who are numb and who are cynical and who are, just harsh and given up sort of hope, that can be the model of what it looks like to be human, So for me, I think a compassionate person for me is a better human being any day. And that comes by ongoing a formational process that then forms us into those kinds of people, so that then the world sort of offers us a canvas, the suffering, the pain, the losses, offers us sort of a canvas for us to participate in its healing. And in so doing, we wake up to realize actually we became better, more whole human beings, are people with a capacity to bear with one another, kind of a thing. So in that sense, and so the contrast to that side is that this fear that I have, especially for our generation, that we are becoming more and more, numbed, which almost inevitably means we become more and more narcissistic, which means more and more we are becoming a people incapable of bearing with one another. And I just keep wondering, who is going to have the capacity to be with me, for example, in my 50s? For example, God forbid, if I'm diagnosed with cancer, But we all sort of give ourselves to this sort of hedonistic sort of life, and this just for me and about me, that we could very well lose our capacity to be with suffering with others. And at this point, it looks like children's homes, street children or unwell parents or whatever it is. But very soon it's going to be us who are in desperate need for people to have compassion on us. Will we have the capacity to be there for each other and with each other? Again, another very long answer.
Someone, I think as you were talking, I just I thought of the idea of compassion and action, and how action is out there. Action is out in the public with people, and whether it's social justice, whether it's with your family, taking care of someone, whatever it is that you do for compassion, it's almost like you do it outside with other people. But then there's also this idea, there's also this idea of God reminding us to go into our rooms to pray. And I wonder whether, that is where now you become frustrated. That's where your heart, you go to be reminded that there's more, there's something more going on, and it's not all on me. It's not, I don't have to fix everything and everyone. But when I go into my closet and pray, is that then the place where God is going to remind me that you're doing enough, and you're doing all that you can do, and I still have this, I'm still working and partnering with more people and doing all those things. And I don't know, I think it just, I don't know, for some reason when you are talking, that's what just hit me. It's like, let your heart break. And if it can't break here, where your compassion is being called out, can it break there, where God can remind you of, that there's still more that's being done, but then also where you can be renewed and refreshed and revitalized, so that when you go back, you still go back from this grounded place. Because there's too many of us also who, and I think I might be one of those people, we are so frustrated that we act out of frustration. This should not be happening. Let's be out in the street, and that's that's how we are killing people, that's how we are killing and shaming people. And out of a place where we think like we are helping, but we are causing so much more damage. So I don't know, I guess just those spaces, like going back to those spaces could be very important for our walk in compassion.
Well, and I don't want to add anything to that other than just to redefine a bit. You say you go to the private place to pray. Maybe we should, I know that's what Jesus frames it in the Bible. Maybe we should reframe it to go to the private place to be with God. Because then also we have almost very determined understanding and definition of prayer. But I'm like, more than that place being a place of prayer, that place becomes a place of being with God. And all of it, that being with God, all of it should be called prayer. But just for our purpose, just to say, be in that place to do work with God.
To be formed.
To be formed, exactly. So then you show up into the world as someone who has been formed, both by the brokenness outside, but then also by the time spent in the privacy space, and ultimately also then by the action that you show up into like it's all about forming us to be bearers of good news, to be voices of hope, to be people who can live lives of faith, and to be people whose lives can be marked by love.
And also so that we can run the full mile.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could.
It's a
Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going
journey.
to bust on the way.
You can die on the way,
Yeah.
literally. But yeah, so you can run the mile. So that's, yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Nope.
Wow. I'm
That's
just like
it.
going to go like, wow, yeah, okay, this sparks something so.
This.
If it took longer, just bear with us. Like we are.
Thank you so much for joining us today. May you go forth and have the courage to feel. Allow your heart to be broken so that you can keep showing up as a compassionate person, so that you can keep, being in the work, in the work that will help us, that helps us partner with God to, redeem and, try and save our world.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Try.
as a host, the co-host at this point, please subscribe to our channel and go to the
Yes.
comment and add your voice.
Yes, add your voice, add your
Otherwise, Aggie
voice.
with her intensity.
Yeah.
We'll stay here till tomorrow. But yes, thank you for being here. It's been such an honor. Thank you, guys. It's been awesome.
Karibu.
This has been Village Chats, conversations about the spirituality of everyday life. See you next time.
See you next time.